I will summarize the first chapter of Douglas Eyman's book, Digital Rhetoric, Theory, Method, Practice. Eyman sets out to define and locate digital rhetoric as the title of the chapter suggests. Digital rhetoric has not yet been established as its own field of study. While Eyman seeks to lay the groundwork for this, he also notes the interdisciplinary nature digital rhetoric necessitates. In order to understand digital rhetoric, we must understand rhetoric as it is situated in historical and contemporary perspectives that analyze the scope and role rhetoric plays in any society. Not surprisingly, Eyman suggests that digital rhetoric is informed by our notions of three terms: rhetoric, digital, and text. Understanding rhetoric goes beyond traditional associations with persuasion to include meaning-making and knowledge production. However, persuasion, as it applies to digital rhetoric, has to be broadened. The available means Aristotle refers to has expanded with the advent of the computer and digital forms of communication. Digital serves as a new form of production, builds from a history of language and written communication, and ultimately serves as a bridge between textual production and rhetoric. Moving to the final element relevant to digital rhetoric, Eyman draws from scholarship that says text is a communicative event that represents discourse and has the potential to inspire social action. After discussing elements of rhetoric and how digital spheres complicate traditional ideas, Eyman settles on a broad definition of rhetoric near the end of the chapter. The term digital rhetoric is perhaps most simply defined as the application of rhetorical theory as analytic method or heuristic for production to digital text and performances. Despite understanding varied aspects of rhetorical study and methods, Eyman argues that it is not enough to simply adjust our current theories to fit the constantly shifting and evolving landscape of digital spheres. Instead, we need to align theories and methods of classical and contemporary rhetoric to networked text and new media as objects of study, but we also need to develop new theories and methods to account for gaps in these more traditional approaches, as he writes. Barbara Warnick applies rhetorical theory to digital text and asserts that ethos, interactivity, and intertextuality are crucial and unique aspects of digital rhetoric. Web-based content complicates traditional ideas of ethos because markers of authorship and credit become blurred. Ethos, instead, should be understood as the credibility of the argument. Digital texts allow interactivity and co-creation between readers and writers. And lastly, intertextuality is more easily created in web-based text and digital mediums. Eyman closes the chapter by acknowledging that digital rhetoric, as an independent field of study, is informed by other fields, including, but not limited to, digital literacy, visual rhetoric, new media, human-computer interaction, and critical code studies.